Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu, and I hope you're doing well. Okay, so Champ Life just sent a comment on one of our videos asking, well basically I kind of go over his story. He said he's 32 years old, was injured for about 7 years and is now getting back into it. Kind of tough being injured like that for that long. I kind of feel you for that. But getting back into it, but found both a judo club and a jiu-jitsu club, but only has 2 days a week that he can train. So wants some advice, what can he do? So here's the thing, you have to kind of check things out first. So let's first ask you this. What kind of judo school is it? Is it a judo school that concentrates on Olympic judo? Meaning just throw, and then not so much worry about the newaza or the ground grappling? Now just because they do pins or they do 5 minutes of grappling at the end of the day of any class doesn't mean they do ground grappling, okay? That to me would be a typical judo school. Also look at the jiu-jitsu school. Are they a competition school? If that's the case, how much time do they spend actually doing takedowns and self-defense? Chances are, if it's a competitive school, meaning one that goes into competition, they don't do much on their feet at all. Most classes, they'll start on their knees or on their butts playing guard. They may have a fundamentals class and they may spend a little bit of time on some self-defense stuff, but really no distance management, no clinch, no takedown. Just straight to the groundwork is what they'll do. So ask yourself, what type of school do you have? If you have a judo school that is less on the Olympic side and more on they're going to do the throws and stuff, which are the basis of judo, but they're also going to do a lot of grappling, a lot of submissions and all that kind of stuff. If that's the case, that's a good judo school that I would say go and try. On the other hand, with the jiu-jitsu school, if they're a traditional self-defense type where they do the distance management, the takedowns, at a very minimum, the takedowns that the GRACIE'S would typically do would be you cover the arm, head on the chest, and you got the hip in control, or head on the other side and you lock them up that way. But the throw, if they do that, the morote seonagi, which is the hip throw with the arm controlled, and then they have the hand around the back of the waist and they throw, that's very typical of the traditional GRACIE Jiu-Jitsu. So ask yourself, do you have two competitive type schools? Competition judo, competition jiu-jitsu. If that's the case, I would go judo. I would not go jiu-jitsu in that case. You'll learn the grappling, but what good is it if you get thrown and you land on your head and you're done? Okay, so do the judo, get to at least maybe a middle belt, maybe a second green or a brown belt, and then start to consider jiu-jitsu school, or work all the way to black belt. Might take you 3, 4, or 5 years or whatever. I don't know, depends on the school. Or if you see a traditional jiu-jitsu school, one like I was lucky enough to be in, then do the jiu-jitsu school instead. The last choice that I would have would be the competition jiu-jitsu school. So the first choice would be to have a jiu-jitsu school that does a traditional. Your next best option would be a judo school that does a lot of grappling. Your third option would be a straight up competition judo school. Your last option would be the jiu-jitsu school. I would go to one of those twice a week, instead of going to one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, for instance, because you won't get enough repetition in either art to become really proficient at it. You'll get a little bit of each, but not enough repetition. And when your schedule opens up, then you can maybe add in a third day at that one school, or maybe you can do 5. If you can do 5, do 3 and 2, and then you do both. I would, like I said, I'd just go to the traditional jiu-jitsu school first, spend all the time there, learn their system and all that kind of good stuff. Or if that doesn't work, then do a judo school that has a lot of groundwork. Third option, a judo school that does a lot of competition. Fourth option would just be your competition type jiu-jitsu school, your sports school. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Hope I answered your question well enough. Thank you guys for sending in your questions. Thank you for hitting the like button, and also subscribing, sharing, and visiting us on our Patreon channel. So the Patreon channel is where you get a lot of the techniques that Dave Kama, those who don't know, Dirty Dozen member, Rickson Gracie black belt. In my mind, a true Rickson Gracie black belt. Anyway, come visit us and hit us with any questions you got. That's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye-bye.